this right here in verse 16. For by him, Christ, all things were created that are in heaven and that are on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created through him and for him. In other words, he created the angelic realm, the heaven, the earth, the seas, and all things therein. He is King of kings and Lord of lords, who reigns in majesty supreme. And he came here, God himself, incarnated. He became a man, and he paid the price. He bore the wrath of the Most High that rightly belonged, justly deserved, you and I, which we should have taken. But by the grace of God, he went to the cross of Calvary. But the glory and the sobering reality of the cross is such that if we spurn the love and grace of God, payday someday is a reality. In other words, hell is for real. And so we see going on here in verse 17, he says, and he is before all things. In other words, from everlasting to everlasting, he is the great I am. He is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the A and the Z. He said, in all things in him consist. He is the glue, as it were, that holds it all together. God is actively at work in this world, having spoken the heavens and the earth and the galaxies and the vast expanse of the cosmos into existence from nothing. As 2 Corinthians 4 also says, for God who commanded light to shine out of darkness. Let there be light, and there was light, he said. For the God who commanded light to shine out of darkness is shown in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. In other words, Christ, the person and finished work of our Savior, is the blazing center of the glory of God. And look in verse 18. He says, and he is the head of the body. He's in charge. The church, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he may have the preeminence. And this is the reality of it here, is Christ's supremacy in truth amidst a secular age. Because you name it, whatever question that vexes the heart and soul of whatever generation you're in, and whatever generation of those that you care for in your family, in your community, in your workplace, you name it, Jesus Christ has the answers. He is the answer. Because, for example, as far as issues as far as like, who am I? Why are we here? What's wrong with the world? Where are we going? As far as issues of meaning, purpose, identity, destiny, and redemption, Christ speaks to all these things. He is the creator who branded us in his image as male and female, that our lives would bring him great honor and glory because of who he is and what he has done. And the issue, as far as what's wrong with the world, it's you and I. Because we are the rebel sinners. And it is death and disease and destruction that came into, invaded God's good creation because of our rebellion as far as Adam is the federal head of the human race. And we look down to verse 20. 19 and 20 speaks to this. It says, for it pleased the Father that in him Christ all the fullness of the Godhead should dwell bodily. In verse 20 at the end there it says, having made peace through the blood of his cross. That's glorious, dear ones. And so Christ's supremacy in truth amidst a secular